Hello everyone, and welcome to The Killer Cast, where every so often I'll be welcoming on a guest and we'll be chatting about zombies, horror, and any variety of other topics. Before we jump into things, I just want to say thank you so much for supporting the channel. It means the world to me, and for those of you that are new, please consider subscribing. It's free and helps keep the channel up and running so I can continue bringing you fresh cuts of pop culture served nice and bloody. Thank you. Now, let's start carving our way through today's topic.
Welcome, one and all, back to the Killer Cast, hosted, as always, by the one, the only, Hometownkiller, joined by his special guest, yours, one and truly, Justice. Take it away, Killer!
Hello everyone and welcome home. As you heard, today I am here with my friend Justice and we are going to be discussing horror movies. How you doing, man?
I'm doing great.
That's good. That's good.
How about you yourself?
I'm doing all right. Spent the day working on 3D printing stuff. It's been very rainy over here in the Midwest, so there's not much to really do outside of hobbies at home.
Yeah, same here. Pretty boring day. I tried to work on this thing I've been writing for some time, but didn't really had a little bit of a writer's block today for the most part, so it was pretty boring.
Dude, I feel that. I have writer's block all the time. Even in that Last of Us video I just did, I had to sit there and just watch it and talk about it because I was getting hit with writer's block so hard I couldn't come up with a bunch of witty and snappy things to say.
Yeah, I've mentioned before that I'm not into The Last of Us at all. I don't really know much about it, but I did think that video that you made was quite nice, and your video editing is just still really good, man.
Thanks, dude. That means a lot, especially considering lately I've been feeling so I switched my desk from my bedroom more out into the open living room of my apartment because my partner and I are kind of trying to switch things up for more, not only fluidity, but also we try to optimize the apartment for productivity as opposed to living room couch, sit and watch TV all day. In every room we go into, we put stuff where there's something to do. And ever since I moved out here, I don't know, I've been feeling a bit insecure in my video progression. I think it's because I also upgraded my desk and I upgraded some software and I upgraded my monitors, and the only thing I didn't upgrade was my mic, and lately it's been giving me problems. It'll cut out in the middle of recording. It won't capture everything as well as I typically like it to, so it's
I don't think I've ever noticed that in live streams.
Well, that's good.
So I'm guessing it's just videos then.
Okay. Yeah, that's good. I know also though, in the last live stream I did, the Fortnite one, I thought my audio was fine, but then when I went to go watch the video back, I was way quieter than Accomplice.
Yeah, I forgot about that. Yeah, I will admit you do have a few volume issues.
Yeah.
But I've never really the specific thing that you said about your microphone cutting out. I've never noticed that.
Yeah, maybe I need to switch to.
And I imagine you edit that out in the videos. So
yeah.
Plus, I haven't known your channel for that long, so also that's another thing as well. Maybe it's in a video that I haven't seen.
Oh man, if you go
or in a live stream I haven't seen.
If you ever go back to my first videos, the audio was atrocious, mainly because so I use a Blue Yeti mic and they have a ton of settings, and I would accidentally, when I'd go to adjust my mic, I'd click the button to fuck with the settings on accident, so every time I recorded it sounded different and it sounded off and weird. But I finally learned what they all meant. It's just a matter of this mic is getting old and I think I just need to get a new one.
Yeah, I was a little bit ahead of the curve whenever it came to my microphone, because the main thing that I wanted to try and do on YouTube was voiceover stuff and vocals, and I still want to get back into doing that. But I have a audio interface and AKG P120. and they've been doing me pretty well.
Okay, hell yeah. I'm in the market for something new, so if you have anything that you'd recommend, definitely whenever we're done recording, link it to me.
Honestly, just this. I know you said to say that, save it for after.
No, you're good.
But it'd be really quick. Just what I just said, P120, because what I did was I went to a guitar center near me, and I asked them what would be a good microphone for around $100 and primarily used for vocals. And the guy there pointed this one out to me.
Interesting.
Honestly, I'd probably recommend doing that more than just getting yourself an AKG P120, because your guitar center might have something even better than that. But also, then again, it might not. I don't know if you have one near you as
yeah,
well.
I have a guitar center.
Oh, you do?
During
Okay.
right before COVID, I actually went and I bought a guitar because I wanted to learn how to play. I spent like $400 on an acoustic, and then COVID happened and they weren't taking guitar lessons anymore, and I just never got back into it.
Yeah, I've been wanting to learn guitar as well. But, well, actually, I wanted to learn guitar, but then I was like, no, I'd rather learn bass.
That's
Because I slowly started to like a lot more bass players in the music that I like, rather than guitarists. Also, another thing is, I as you know by this point, I'm a very big metalhead. But also another thing is, I kind of just want to get more into other types of music, and I feel like guitar is more so focused on. There are other genres, of course, that it's implemented into. Well, specifically electric guitar is more so focused towards like rock and heavy metal, whereas like the bass, you get into like it's not only hard rock and heavy metal, but also like jazz and funk and like all sorts of other stuff.
Yeah.
That guitar is not nearly as much implemented into.
Yeah, and that's definitely fair. I have a friend who does bass, and he likes it a lot.
Yeah. But anyways, got way off track.
Hey, as these things tend to do.
Yeah, and it's fine. It's fine.
All right.
Natural progression is much better than
Forced progression.
Trying to force progression, force it into a gear, like as if you're in a manual car and you're just grinding gears.
That's that is true. But in the sake of grinding gears and staying on topic, horror movies. I've been doing a couple videos breaking out against the mold of Call of Duty, and I did a couple videos about horror movies. I did one about the rise and fall of the zombie genre, which was a lot more divisive than I thought it was going to be, and then the rise and fall of the slasher film, which was a lot less divisive than I thought it was gonna be.
And those videos are doing really, really good on your channel. And personally, those are like, out of all the stuff that I've seen out of your channel, those are like probably my favorite that I've seen out of your channel.
Okay, cool.
Aside from maybe the Black Ops 3 video. The Black Ops 3 video,
The one that got me flamed in the comments.
I said in the comments that I don't really necessarily agree with your opinion on that.
That's fair.
But I really like the fact that you brought your opinion to the table, and I think you did a spectacular job presenting it. Honestly, no, I think that is up there with those other two videos on your channel. Those, if I was going to like hand somebody your channel, I would probably recommend the Black Ops 3 video, the slasher video, and the history of zombies video. Those are like probably the three that I would think I would present to somebody. And then one other one that I'm just not thinking off the top of my head, but it's at the tip of my tongue.
Are you trying to think of it, or was that
No, sorry.
All right, no, you're good. I was just waiting. I was like, oh, is he gonna say something, or
no? If I think of it, I'll
cool.
Say it later.
But yeah, man, thank you. That means a lot. I tried really hard on those. On actually those three specifically. I probably tried the hardest that I've tried on any other video that I've put up.
It shows. It shows, man.
Besides one, I did one other one before Black Ops 6 came out that I tried really hard on, and because I cussed so much in it, it got like shit on immediately in the algorithm, and I re-edited it with bleeps and called it the Terms of Service edition, and I think that one actually came out more funny than the previous one, just because the bleeps just sold it. So, but
which one are you talking about? Is it the one you're on YouTube, or
yeah? So
which one is it?
It's on. Let me pull up my channel real quick. It is 7 months ago, right before Sobering Take on Black Ops 6. It was Black Ops 6 Zombies Uncensored, and then Black Ops 6 Zombies Terms of Service Edition. Because I played around with like animation and stuff like for the first time, and I actually had like my character moving his arms like fluidly and stuff, and like I was making him walk across the screen back and forth and implementing some other characters that I have.
Well, I'll definitely have to check that one out.
Yeah, but because it did so bad and how much effort it took to do that, I never did that again after that. Yeah. And then it's funny, actually. So that inspired my Sobering Take on Black Ops 6, which is 33 minutes long. And the reason it inspired it is because Sobering Take on Black Ops 6, I literally sat in front of my mic with no script, and I just bitched for 33 minutes. And then that video got 6.8 thousand views. So
I think I know which one you're talking about, too.
Yeah, it's the one where in the intro I did like the little comic strip where like it's based on the Giants intro where Killer comes from the future and kills past Killer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think I watched that one all the way through. I think I had to like go and do something, but what I did see, that one was pretty good too.
Thank you. Yeah, and then my Who is the Ultimus crew and Victus crew, those ones did well too, but yeah, I really enjoyed doing the Rise and Fall of Zombies as well as the slashers. I learned a lot of things that I didn't know previously.
In what way? In like the how you make the video, or learn new things about the genre in the comments, or other stuff? Oh, okay.
Making the video was also a learning progression because I wanted them both to feel similar because they're the same style video. But when I was doing the Rise and Fall of the zombie genre, I realized which zombie films that I watched during my childhood were the ones that were... It made me see which films that I had no idea they were... What's the word I want to say? I guess important as they were. Like, how defining they were for the genre. Like...
Innovative?
Yeah, innovative. Like, because when I was a kid, much more than I can now, unfortunately, I used to just put on anything and watch it, and I would watch every horror movie I could, especially zombie movies. And I'm sure if you've been through zombie films, you know that out of every single 10 zombie films you watch, 9 of them are gonna suck. And I used to just spend my weekends when I was a teenager binge watching zombie films, and I don't know, I just didn't know some of them were as important as they were, so that was really cool to find out. And then it was the same thing with the slasher video, because growing up, my parents had me when they were 18, so I kind of grew up with them in a way. And so every October, AMC does the 31 days of like horror movies.
Yeah.
And
do they still do that?
Yes, they do. And my parents would have it on every Halloween. And we would go to, like, family friends' houses, and they'd all have it on, you know, like, and so I was introduced to horror films at a very young age, and growing up seeing as many as I did, like, obviously I was too young to take in the meanings, I just saw scary creatures hunting people down, right? But to, like, grow up and, like, do an essay-based video about them, and go back and really dig into what made, like, each movie special in the grand scheme of things is really cool. And it's actually inspired me to... I have a couple more on my slate. And I think the next one I do, I was talking to my brother, Gravity, and he was like, well, why don't you do one about the found footage genre? And I was like, damn.
That would be a good one.
That would be a good one. And then that also inspired me. I want to do one about, like, horror satires, too. I think that'd be fun.
Yeah, I could see that one. Yeah, that Dracula Dead and Loving It is, I don't know why, is the first thing that came to mind.
Fucking Tucker and Dale versus Evil, the scary movies, obviously. A Haunted House. There's a lot of them. Yeah, I don't know, man. I love horror. It's my favorite genre of movie.
Yeah. For me, in like my teenage years, I was really, really into horror. Now I'm more so into adventure.
Okay.
Because a lot of thing with adventure things is pretty much anything from other genres could happen in a adventure type film.
That's true.
And a lot of times, like, the most horrific stuff will happen in an adventure film, especially if it's like a kid's film and it's an adventure film. Like, while you're like going across a really, really narrow ledge, one of your fellow companions falls off and dies, and you look down and you see it, like a really morbid part of this, like, for the most part, joyous movie.
Yeah.
And that's the thing with horror for kids animation in particular. There's not a lot, kind of not just kids animation in general. A lot of times you won't have something that's strictly just horror animated. A lot of times it'll be some other genre, and then there'll be that one scene that just scars you for as a child.
Yeah, you're not wrong. And for me, it was
those were like my.
For me, it was Wall-E.
Those were like my favorite scenes as a kid.
Yeah.
Sorry to
you're
interrupt
good.
you.
For me, it was Wall-E when he gets into space and all the people have no bones because they're so fucking fat.
I'll admit, I don't get that one, but one of the ones that got me as a kid was there's this old 60s show called Johnny Quest. Have you ever heard of it?
I've heard of Johnny Test.
No. Completely different thing. Horrible bastardization of Johnny Quest, in all honesty.
Damn.
No, Johnny Quest was like a huge groundbreaking show at its time. Pretty much every single action adventure cartoon, or just action cartoon, kind of that's like, you know how you were saying before, there's certain things that are like innovators and they like were the first of their kind.
Yeah.
Johnny Quest was the first of its kind whenever it came to action cartoons. And but getting back on track, the thing that scared the bejesus out of me as a kid from that show was there was this one particular episode called The Invisible Monster, and there's just several scenes throughout that episode that scared me as a kid, and still to this day, like, gives me a little bit of an unnerving feeling, but a lot of that has to do with the audio design for the monster.
Okay.
The monster in that episode's scream or screech or whatever sounds like bone-chillingly terrifying. Still to this day, it like creeps me out, the sound that it makes. And that actually leads, ironically enough, to another example of childhood trauma, if you want to put it that way, for me. And okay, have you ever heard of Robbie the Robot?
Robbie the Robot. Hold on, let me Google this.
You've probably seen him before. He was turned into a lot of times whenever you think of like the old metal robot toys that would like march forward. Yeah.
That looks like the robot from Zathura.
Yes. Robbie the Robot was definitely an inspiration for that. But anyways, the movie that he originally came from was Forbidden Planet, and in that movie, there's a monster that, ironically enough, is also invisible until it's shot with... there's like one specific scene where it becomes visible. But it sounds horrific as well, but that's honestly like not the part of that movie that scared me as a kid. The part that scared me as a kid, and again, still to this day, this movie kind of creeps me out, is the soundtrack to that movie was actually the first ever electronic soundtrack to any movie ever. Yes, it was. The whole entire soundtrack just gives you this sense of anxiety. I urge anybody listening to this, or you yourself after you're finished with this, to listen to at least a little bit of it, and you'll see what I mean by it just gives you anxiety.
Okay.
But on top of that, that's not even like the worst part. There's this part near the end of the movie where the monster is going through a door. It's a door made out of this like scientific material that's supposed to be indestructible. Yet somehow it's still going through it. The way how the metal just like slowly starts to melt, it was always creepy to me, and still to this day kind of creepy. But also on top of that, the soundtrack goes from anxiety inducing to full on like terrifying, because it sounds like a machine having a heart attack.
Yeah.
Is the best way how I could describe it. Like the whole entire rest of the movie, that's a perfect way of describing the soundtrack to that movie. It's like a robotic anxiety attack before the ending where it goes into a full-on heart attack.
Interesting.
Those are probably like the actually really quick, for me personally, I think a lot of times what makes something really, really scary to me in a movie is less so for me personally the visuals and more so the sound. I don't know if you're the same way.
Yeah, oh yeah,
you?
sound design in a film, any film, no matter what genre, is incredibly important.
And games.
It is, and games,
games.
yes. A sound design in any form of media is so important. So goddamn important. And
That's,
yeah,
sorry,
no, you're good. I love films where the sound design really draws you into a scene. Like, there was this one movie. What the fuck was it? It was that stupid one that they did the viral marketing with the Charlie. Is the kids break into the school during the play.
Oh, I know what movie you're talking about. I never watched it, and I have no idea what it's called, but
The Gallows.
Movie
The Gallows is what it's called.
Yeah, I never watched that, but I do remember hearing about it.
So there's a scene. For the most part, the movie's really mid, but there's one scene where one of the girls is like sitting alone, and she's like sitting. There's some stairs coming up, and there's a wall divider like 2 feet, and then there's a hallway. So it's like if you could imagine going up some stairs, and then you turn left, and there's a hallway that goes all the way to the right and left, and the camera is looking so you see down the stairs and behind her down the hallway at the same time, and she's sitting there like crying in her knees. And usually, like a lot of horror movies, you know, they love jump scares, but
Yeah.
she's sitting there crying, and the scene carries on for like 4 minutes, and slowly in the background of the hallway, you like slowly see the ghost, because it looks like a hangman, like slowly coming out of the shadows, like very slowly. And as it like slowly creeps into frame to when you can finally notice it, I remember the soundtrack. It's like a tinnitus ring that slowly picks up as it's like not like a white noise, but just like, it's hard to explain, but like nails on a chalkboard slowly growing as it's coming out of the blackness. And I remember when I saw that movie, I'm like, this whole movie is pretty ass, but this one moment put like really crazy, just like chills into my spine. And I was like, if the whole movie was like that, it probably would have done it for me. But
Yeah.
yeah, sound design is very important.
I'm a really big fan of those videos where it's like one good scene out of bad movies. You know what I'm talking about? Have you ever seen those videos?
Is it where they cut the good scene out of the bad movies and you just watch the good scene?
Yeah, and they talk about it a little bit. Like it's a commentary video.
Okay. I haven't seen them. I think I've been recommended them, but I don't think I've watched any.
They're pretty good. They recommend some good scenes sometimes.
Well, that's pretty cool. What is your favorite horror movie or movie series?
Okay, for your Discord server, I actually put on there like a little while back. I made a list of like all my favorite movies that, whenever I'm watching them, they're my favorite movie. And the one that got really, really, really close to being on there was The Thing.
Okay.
But
The original John Carpenter.
yeah, the original John Carpenter's The Thing. And I still would say that's definitely like one of my favorite horror movies of all time. But whenever it comes to my favorite horror movie, just period, I'd probably have to go with the original Godzilla movie. Because the thing is with The Thing, it's a horror that's a lot less relevant to real life, if you get what I mean.
Yeah.
Whereas Godzilla, it's weird because in a way it's a lot more grandiose, it's a lot more fictional, but like the topic that it's covering is so much more real, because the original Godzilla movie is just a huge allegory for nuclear proliferation and the existential thought of nuclear warfare, or even worse than that, like the advancement of human technology to make weapons that kill each other more effectively, is essentially what the whole entire movie is a big allegory for.
Yeah.
And doesn't really get much more horrifying than that. The only ones that I would argue would probably be I would say are more horrific than that are ones that are like something like Schindler's List, where it's talking about the Holocaust. But even still then, it's a lot more direct with its horror in that aspect. Godzilla talks about something that you can't really be direct because it's something that hasn't happened yet.
Right, whereas the message of John Carpenter's The Thing is kind of a whole, like, you never really know who people are type beat. And that's pretty obvious.
Honestly, what I would say more so for me, what makes it horrific in my mind is, and this kind of goes into the category of also zombie movies, and the idea of where exactly does this person that's turned into the Thing, where does the Thing start and where the person end? Is the person now also the Thing? Like, kind of like Ship of Theseus type of horror, existential horror.
Okay, I see your point.
Yeah. And another thing about why I wouldn't put Schindler's List or something like that on my favorite horror movies of all time, I don't really like watching them because they make me a lot more sad. And honestly, Godzilla makes me really, really sad as well. But it's because of the fact that it's fictionalized, I can kind of get through it a little bit easier. You get what I mean?
Yeah.
So what I'll say is something like Schindler's List, definitely more horrifying all the way. But being horrific, it's more so the objective for Schindler's List is to be horrific and sad, whereas Godzilla is a little bit more just specifically horrific.
Yeah, that's very fair. And honestly, I've never even like looked at Schindler's List as the possibility of like a horror movie. So that's, I mean, I absolutely see how it can be in regards to how horrifying the, events of the Holocaust and World War II were, but
yeah,
that's interesting.
That's the thing about like horror is a lot of times you'll think about horror in one specific way, and like the fact that it's just horror entertainment, and it's like just meant to be entertaining. And then you'll have other things where, like Schindler's List, where it's horrifying, but it's not really meant to be entertaining.
Yeah.
And I know I keep on saying Schindler's List, but I'm blanking on other things to like also use as a comparison.
Yeah, no, you're good, man. And those are some really good choices.
What about you? What would you say are your
Oh man,
favorite movies or movie series?
horror series, I'd probably say Evil Dead.
I forgot to mention my favorite horror series really quick. If I was going to count, I would have to agree with you, probably Evil Dead. But if I was going to have to do with like spiritual sequels, John Carpenter's Apocalypse trilogy but those are like spiritual sequels. They don't count as like official.
Okay, hell yeah.
You know John Carpenter's Apocalypse trilogy, right?
Like Apocalypse Now?
No. John Carpenter's Apocalypse trilogy is The Thing, Prince of Darkness, and In the Mouth of Madness. And what all three of them have to do with one another is that they are about potential apocalypses or apocalypses that do actually happen.
Okay.
And I think they all came out one after another is the other thing.
Interesting.
Yeah, but those, if you want to say spiritual series, that would definitely be my favorite.
Okay. Hell yeah. Yeah, mine, like I said, is definitely Evil Dead. Ash Williams, what a guy. Fucking, I love the original films. I love the Ash vs. Evil Dead show. I love the 2013 remake, and I even loved the new one, the new Evil Dead Rise.
I still need to see the new one.
Yeah, it was good. It's fun. A lot of people don't like that it's not always about Ash, but I like the idea that there are just pocket outbreaks of fucking demons, just
I agree.
messing up people's lives. I think that's really interesting.
Plus, I mean, how old is Bruce Campbell now?
Yeah, he's getting up there. He wants to play.
He was old whenever that second most recent Evil Dead movie came out, dude.
Yeah, he was old in the show Ash vs. Evil Dead that ran from 2015 to 18.
And that was basically one of the big jokes of that series.
Yeah, but yeah, that's probably my favorite. Even though it doesn't always sit on horror. A lot of times it sits along comedy. And then I would say another solid contender. I really like in terms of standalone movie, I would say I really like the first Insidious. Jeepers Creepers 1 and 2, even though
I know what you're about to say.
Even though the creator director guy is a fucking piece of human garbage. But those first two movies are so
and the
good.
third one.
No. We ain't talking about the third or the fourth one. All right, no. Talk about.
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah. No,
I didn't even see the fourth one.
Me neither, but I heard it was horrible. I did see the third one,
That's what I heard
and that
as well.
was trash.
Yeah.
That was garbage, bro. Like, the whole movie, I'm watching it, and then they're like, all right, we're gonna get on the bus that's from the second one, and I'm like, you fucking kidding me? This is how you want to do this? This is how you want to fucking end your movie? Okay, buddy. Go fuck yourself. Ugh. Yeah, fuck that guy. I don't know, I've liked a lot of horror movies. Hills Have Eyes was one of the first ones I saw. The Grudge. Man, that shit. The Grudge probably fucked me up the most as a kid.
I don't think I've seen that movie all the way through.
Really, dude? I watched all of them. No matter how scary they were, I watched all of them. I played the Wii video game when I was a kid. Where you're like...
It wasn't...
Go ahead.
It wasn't that I got scared and turned it off. It was like I had to go and do something and then I didn't go back to it.
Oh, man. Maybe we'll do a watch party sometime. That'd be fucking hilarious. Maybe in October we could do a watch party.
Yeah.
But yeah, we played the, I don't know if you've ever seen it, but there's a Wii video game they made for The Grudge where
I think I might have heard
it's
about
like
it.
first person and you have your Wii remote is a flashlight and you're trying to find your dog in an abandoned hospital and the Grudge is hunting you down the whole time. Or I don't remember what the entity's name is, but yeah, she's hunting you down the whole time. Shit is fucking crazy.
I heard about that. I think I've seen some footage of that game, and it was quite a while back, but I think I remember seeing it and being like, I have to try that out sometime.
Yeah, if I still had a Wii, I'd get it, but I don't have a Wii.
Yeah.
So maybe an emulator somewhere has it.
Yeah. Or they do have an emulator on the PC for a Wii. Nintendo, stop listening to this podcast right now.
They're already on their way here.
No! I swear I don't have emulated Nintendo games on my computer.
Speaking of horror games, do you have a favorite?
I have a favorite horror game whenever it comes to the story, and then I have a favorite horror game whenever it comes to its gameplay.
All right, tell me both.
My favorite horror game whenever it comes to the story is by far Soma. Have you ever heard of that?
I think I've heard of it.
It is the game where it's about a person who gets transported, I guess you could say, into the future because he had to get a brain scan done for some sort of procedure he was about to have done. And whenever he got that brain scan, a copy of his consciousness was saved into the future. And in the future, like this dystopian future where the entirety of mankind has had to move underwater, and now like 99.99% of people are robots.
Oh, interesting.
He has to make his way through this underwater city to try and make it out alive. And I will not go any further because I don't want to spoil other things that happen. But it's very, very good.
It sounds interesting for sure.
Yes. And honestly, I did not play that game, but I watched somebody else play it back in the day.
Hey, that's okay.
But whenever it comes to gameplay, I would probably have to say... I don't know what I would have to say for that. Never mind, I guess I don't have one for gameplay.
Man, just in terms of horror games, I really love both the Evil Within games. I know a lot of people bitch about the change in gameplay style from the first to the second, but I was a fan. I like them both a lot. I also really liked Until Dawn before the remaster. I also...
Have you, really quick, Until Dawn, have you seen like the movie that they're making for that?
Unfortunately. Yeah.
Was that a sigh of...
Dude, it looks like shit.
I was wondering... Was that a sigh like you were...
shit, dude? Like, why?
But I knew what that sigh meant now.
Why? You don't even need to make it a movie. The game was basically a movie.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. Plus, you can't if you... Okay, rant time. Hometownkiller official rant. You ready? You want to do Until Dawn's IP in cinema. Why the fuck would you do it as a movie with like a 2-hour runtime? Have you ever played Until Dawn?
I've never played it, but I've watched it.
It's a very big butterfly effect game, and it is long depending on your choices. That game as media should be a limited series, a 1-season show, not a movie, not a 2-hour movie. Yeah. A limited series. And if you really wanted to get crazy with it, fucking do it like they did Bandersnatch.
Oh, yeah.
Like, that's what I would say. Do it like they did Bandersnatch, where you can fucking still, like, choose the adventure. Then you're doing Until Dawn as a movie, TV show, whatever. And you still get, like, the whole butterfly effect outcome thing based off of the choices you make, and that is the closest you will come to capturing that game as a film. You know what I mean? Like, what they're doing now, it has nothing to do with the game other than a couple of the creatures are the same, like the Wendigos and the killer mask that Mr. Robot wears. Fucking Freddie Mercury wears when he's going around pretending to kill his friends. You know? So, I don't know. Yeah, it's fucking stupid.
I think another one that could potentially work is, but I think, is a miniseries just another way of saying a limited time or a limited show?
Yeah, basically it's like you cap it after one season typically. Sometimes a second, but most of the time just one. It's like a limited run.
I guess a miniseries is it's like a square and rectangle type thing. Most of the time they're the same thing, but they're not necessarily always the same thing. But anyways, that's another thing that I think could potentially work for that game, a mini series. But I agree with you, the best way how you could implement that game into a moving picture Why am I phrasing it that way?
No, I mean that's accurate. The best way you could put it in the medium of cinema, fucking moving pictures, is
There we go. That's
via.
well, technically a game
Yeah.
is moving pictures as well, but cinema is a much better way of putting it.
But
Cinema is again like the Bandersnatch thing, which, by the way, thank you for reminding me that existed.
Yeah.
I'll have to replay that sometime.
yeah, me too. I only ever played it once, and I got so like the choices I made, I over convoluted everything, and I was so confused at the end.
Yeah.
But
It reminds me a lot of Markiplier's things that he does on YouTube. Not nearly as good as Bandersnatch, but for like the budget he has, I still really enjoy those things that he does.
I haven't seen anything he's done outside of his regular shtick.
Honestly, if I was going to recommend anything that has to do with Markiplier, although I haven't seen what was it called? Something Sleep. Do you know what I'm talking about at all? It came out recently.
Is it a horror game?
It's not a horror game. It's a horror. I think it was a horror series, and it was like based on another thing.
Doctor Sleep?
Oh. No, not Doctor Sleep. Although that is a good movie. Markiplier Sleep.
Markiplier, go to fucking bed,
Edge
dude.
of Sleep. The Edge of Sleep. I heard that was really, really good. But whenever it comes to something that's like not like a full-on cinematic or not something on YouTube from him that I would recommend to another person, it'd definitely be like his like pick and choose your own adventure type videos that he's made.
Yeah.
I lost my train of thought again.
You're good, man.
What were the other? Oh no, I remember the gameplay game I was going to say, and I'm kicking myself so hard because I didn't think of it.
What is?
COD Zombies.
Oh my god. Oh my god. What is that? I've never heard of
What?
that.
I don't know what that is. Yeah. I think the big thing why I didn't immediately think of it off the top of my head is because of the fact that it's so divorced from a horror aesthetic nowadays. It's like practically not horror at all by this point. It's mostly just like action adventure by this point.
Yeah, they really did step away from horror roots. There's nothing scary about it.
The only thing that's really scary about it nowadays, I would say, is like the cutscenes where you die. Aside from that, yeah, no. Also, Terminus is actually pretty horrific as well.
Yeah, I would say it's intense, but I don't know. Fucking
It's not scary. No, nothing about modern COD Zombies is scary.
yeah.
Whereas, like, there was some stuff from like OG COD Zombies that was
Right.
somewhat legitimately scary. But anyways, are there any other games that you have in mind?
Shit, dude. Can you count Guitar Hero the way those NPCs were looking?
If it frightened you as a child, then sure.
Man. Damn. Other than that, I mean, there's a lot of horror games. You know, Resident Evil, fucking BioShock. Man, why am I drawing blanks on so many others? Fatal Frame.
Oh yeah, that's another good
Yeah.
one.
That one that PewDiePie used to play. Of course,
Amnesia?
Yeah, Amnesia. I really enjoyed it. It wasn't so much as it was scary, but I enjoyed the atmosphere of Slender the Arrival when I was younger.
Oh yeah.
Of course, the original Slender Man game, but with the $20 mod, where
The $20 mod.
yeah. So there's a $20 mod where every time Slender Man gets close to you, it'd start playing this song that I'd play for you now, but you know I would get in trouble.
Somebody wants.
No,
to-
it's like give me $20, give me $20, and so like as the closer he gets to you, the louder it gets.
thought you meant that the mod cost $20.
No, it just
it was like
yeah.
an official mod made by like the person who made the
Yeah,
game.
and so the closer he would get to you, instead of like static sound, it would be just give me $20, give me $20.
Yeah, that's I don't know what you're talking about. All those
Yeah,
other
yeah.
games, that's the most horrific.
God, yeah,
Clearly.
so fucking funny, dude.
Well, actually, no. Between the Guitar Hero NPCs and that, the real contenders.
Oh yeah. Oh shit! How could I fucking forget? An old Capcom game, Maximo, Ghost to Glory, and Maximo Army of Zin. My God, classics.
Never heard of these.
Have you ever heard of the arcade game? What the fuck is it? Ghosts and Ghouls?
Yes.
It was basically the spiritual successor to that. Like even the theme song is the same song.
Ghosts and Ghouls or Ghouls and Goblins?
Ghosts and Ghouls.
Ghosts and Ghouls.
I'm pretty sure.
Maybe I haven't actually.
Okay. Well, anyway, so cool. It's a third-person platformer, but the whole premise of the game is you play as this guy Maximo, and basically he was a king of his kingdom, and his queen Sophia got kidnapped by this little fucking sorcerer scumbag who kills Maximo. And after he kills Maximo, he rips open a hole to the afterlife, and he's stealing souls, and he raises an army of the dead to do his bidding. And as Maximo's dead, he's like falling like in the void, and the Grim Reaper personified like fucking he goes up to him, and he's like, boo, and like Maximo doesn't do shit, and he's like, oh, you're not afraid of death? He's like, nope, there's worse things than death. And he's like, yeah, you're right, like this asshole ripped into the land of the dead to steal my souls. And he basically cuts a deal with Maximo to bring him back to life, to help him kill the sorcerer guy. So you start the game, and it's like so you have your sword, and you have a shield. You can throw the shield like a boomerang, and you have your sword.
Okay, so really quick, I actually have heard of this, and it's because Ghouls and Ghosts is the sequel to Ghosts and Goblins.
Oh, done shit. Yeah, great. Spiritual successor to both of them then. You can get like armor upgrades, and your armor rebuild, and when you lose all your armor, you're like down in your underwear and shit, and like you can get different mods for your sword. You could have like a flame sword or an ice sword, and you're fighting skeletons and fucking creatures the whole time. And yeah, it's just really good game. The sequel is more so like on the science fiction, you're fighting like robots and shit, which is still pretty cool. Same exact play style, but like I said, you're fighting.
Does it lose the horror aesthetic?
No, God no. Oh God no. So it's still it's all like medieval times, and so it's like medieval steampunk.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. I'll definitely have to check these out.
Yeah, they were like PS2 games, and so oh man, they were so good. Fucking like you got.
I have a PS2 emulator on my computer.
Hell yeah.
I can
I
say
bet
that.
you- yeah.
PlayStation doesn't care.
They're
not like Nintendo.
Yeah, no, they're not. But yeah, the second one, like you'll go into a cave, and there will be robot spiders coming after you, and yeah, it's so creepy.
Oh.
Yeah, and they got like one of the boss fights is a giant like robot eyeball with like fucking legs and shit that attacks you. Oh man, those games were so good. And just like some of the robots, they got like this long like scythe for a hand, and some are like really big and like just really monstrous looking, just scary motherfuckers, dude. Those games scared the shit out of me as a kid, but my God, were they fun.
So not seeing these monsters, what I am envisioning is Gigan from Godzilla. I don't think you know who that is at all.
I don't.
But if you're a listener if you're a listener out there and you get that, you're a good one. You're a keeper. Anyway,
Justus, what slashers do you think you could survive if you were one of their targets?
I definitely think Pamela Voorhees.
That's fair.
I could survive.
Yeah.
Also, Killer didn't mention this, but I specifically, if there's a character that has multiple different incarnations if you think you could survive one incarnation, mention that one.
Yes. Okay.
Chucky is definitely another one that I think I could survive.
Yeah.
Pretty much any supernatural one aside from like Chucky, I think I'm cooked. I ain't surviving. The only one that is supernatural. Well, okay, so I'd say like first Halloween, Michael Myers, I could probably survive. Second Halloween, Michael Myers, probably be cooked. And then third Halloween, Michael Myers doesn't exist. Or wait, no, he does exist actually, technically. Third Halloween, Michael Myers is a fictional character, so I definitely beat him.
Damn.
Do you remember what scene I'm talking about for that movie?
I don't. It's been such a long time since I've watched all of Halloween all the way through.
Michael Myers is technically in that movie, in the fact that if I remember correctly, somebody is watching one of the prior movies on a TV in that movie.
So he's
So he's technically in there. But through the rest of them, I would probably also die. Jason, I'm just screwed. Freddy, just screwed. Leatherface,
Don't go to Texas.
I don't live in Texas, so I'll be fine.
Yeah.
I read my mind. So I'll probably be fine. I am kicking myself for not remembering his name, but Psycho.
Oh, Norman Bates.
Yes, probably would survive him.
Which one though? You talking the original movie or that really weird TV show they did?
I never watched the sequel. Definitely never watched the TV show.
Bates Motel.
Oh no, I completely forgot that existed.
Yep.
No, I did not watch that.
Yeah, with the kid from Charlie and the Chocolate Factory.
I don't know anything about that show. I do remember. Wasn't it somewhat popular though?
Yeah,
whenever it came out?
It was very popular. But it was also during the period of time that American Horror Story was popping off, so like horror TV was kind of becoming the thing. You had that. You had like the Scream TV show.
Remember.
The Walking Dead was at its peak. Yeah.
I thought the Scream TV show came out somewhat recently.
2016, 2015.
Really?
Yep.
I thought it came out in like 2019.
The last season, because they originally filmed the season 3, didn't like it, reshot it, and then the dude at the top of MTV was like, fuck you, we're canceling your show. And then they were like, actually, how about let's do one more third season, but completely reboot it and make it super woke. So.
Oh.
Yeah.
I think that last rebooted one was the one that I watched, which is really unfortunate because that explains why I didn't really like it that much.
All right.
I'll have to check out that original series of it. But the Ghostface Killers, I'd say
it depends how far along in the movie you are.
Well, the thing is, another thing about it is, you're like their specific target.
Well then, yeah, so you're gonna live.
You wouldn't.
The specific target
Probably
always lives.
Yeah, always lives in those movies.
You're good, dude. Like, all your friends and family are gonna be dead, but you're fine.
Which, honestly, makes me second guess saying if I would die to Michael Myers, because
theoretically, if you're the main character of every single, like, guy you're going after, typically they live. You know what I mean?
Typically.
So...
Yeah.
Yeah. But how about this? How about we make it a little more fair? You ready? And we'll both go through this. Give me 5 slasher icons that you think you could go toe to toe with in a fist fight. No weapons, just fist fight.
They
don't get weapons either, so it's literally just fist fighting, dude. Fucking.
Chucky, I'm stomping. But Talking Tina, if I fought Talking Tina, I would be screwed. Do you know who I'm talking about at all with that?
No, I don't.
Twilight Zone episode. It was essentially like what inspired Child's Play. But anyways, getting off track.
All right, so that's one.
Definitely not Jason. Definitely. Well,
That yeah,
Freddy's kind of a weird one.
yeah.
Is it in a dream?
You pulled him out into the real world, and now it's 1v1 time. No weapons.
Oh, and that means he doesn't have his glove. Yeah, I'd probably kick his ass then in that case.
All right. That's two.
Oh, you want to know a character that I would be screwed if I fought?
Who?
In that scenario? Pumpkinhead. Have you ever seen that movie?
Pumpkinhead. Which movie?
It's just called Pumpkinhead. It's like a monster movie.
No, I haven't.
It came out around the same time as like slasher movies, so it kind of has like a similar vibe to slasher movies.
Okay.
It's kind of like a mixture between a slasher and a monster movie. But who else yeah, probably Ghostface. Well, Ghostface is a strange one because there's so many different people who have put on the mask.
Yeah, but in a 1v1 fight without a knife.
Yeah, but granted, most of them are not typically the strongest people.
Yeah.
So I'd say, yeah, I would. If not outright beat them, I'd probably at least go toe to toe with them.
Okay.
Actually, really quick, on the subject of the original premise, you know the one person that if you were the target of, you would be screwed?
Who?
I forgot his name again. Psycho.
Oh.
Norman Bates.
Yeah.
Because Norman Bates is one of the few people that actually kills the main character of the movie.
That is true.
But I can't think. I think I said 3, right? I said.
I think so. I lost count.
I said Chucky. I said Freddy Krueger, and I also said Ghostface. Start saying yours while I think of my last two.
Okay. I'm gonna go for different people than what you said, just to make it fun. I think.
Oh, well, that's gonna make it harder.
1v1 in a fight.
Jason, come on, you can beat him. Come on.
Dude, nah, dude, he's picked people up in like in their sleeping bag and break their backs over his knee.
I think you could survive it.
Jason X.
You survive it.
Man, I think.
Isn't your girlfriend an android like in that movie?
Oh yeah. Goddamn. Fucking. It's Jason X.
That's one of those movies where it's such a guilty pleasure for me.
Yeah. All right. Mike. Honestly, I think I could take Michael Myers in a 1v1. No weapons.
I would have. Nah, I would have to disagree.
Oh man.
Nah.
See, that's fair, but like, hear me out. All right. If you go into that fight just as viciously as he would, no weapons, you can get him, right? I would poke his eyes out with my thumbs. You know, I could rip his throat out with my teeth, Rick Grimes style.
I don't know, man. He has like super strength.
Not.
And plus, he has like. What do you mean, not really?
I mean, maybe later on, but I feel like in the first movie, he definitely doesn't.
Doesn't he like shove a gun through somebody's chest in the first movie?
Maybe.
Like not shooting them. He like shoves it through them. Oh, and I think he like uses the antlers of a deer to kill a chick in that movie.
I mean, if you...
And that takes some strength.
Maybe. I guess we'll find out. Bring on Michael Myers.
Plus, he took a bullet. Have you ever taken a bullet, killer?
No.
Then there we go. No.
Yes. I'm gonna beat his ass. All right, number 2.
We'll just say agree to disagree.
I'm gonna take
with that
on
one.
fucking Art the Clown, dude. No weapons, 1v1, soloing that motherfucker, bro.
Oh, why am I blanking on who that
From
is?
Terrifier.
Oh no!
Oh yeah,
Not me.
hell yeah, dude. I'm gonna solo that motherfucker, dude. Ooh.
The only like worse answer for that would be like Pennywise.
No, dude, I'll solo Pennywise too. No weapons.
Oh,
1v1 fight. He can't use his fucking magic tricks.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah.
That's true.
1v1.
Actually, never
Art the
mind.
Clown can't use any of his magic tricks, dude. It's 1v1 fist fight. He's done. He doesn't have his garbage bag. Pennywise doesn't have his magic tricks. He's gonna stand there and he's gonna look at me. And it depends which fucking one. Because, like, Tim Curry's, easy. Easiest fight of my life. Fucking, maybe a...
Or wait, no. Wait, actually, no. I changed my mind. No, you would absolutely die from Pennywise because remember he can shapeshift into like
No
the
magic.
spider thing.
No powers. No weapons. It's just 1v1 fight.
I thought they could use their powers. They just couldn't. If it like gave them a weapon, they couldn't use it.
Well, if he
Never mind.
You know what? Fine, dude. All right. If he's gonna turn into a spider, then the laws of real life. If a spider was that big, it'd be crushed under its own weight.
That's true. That's
His
true.
legs wouldn't support him, and then you know what's gonna happen is I'm gonna eat his face.
Good answer. Good answer.
Fucking. That'd be like Billy and Mandy with Jeff the Spider, dude. I just beat that man's ass. All right, so both renditions of Pennywise, dude. I'll fuck him up.
I think you're one more. Because if you're including both versions of Pennywise.
Jeez. Texas Chainsaw Massacre would beat my ass. Easy.
You mean Leatherface?
Leatherface, yeah. I was spacing on the name, dude. I was spacing on the name for a second. Leave me alone.
Somebody just walks up to you with a VHS copy of Texas Chainsaw Massacre and starts beating the shit out of you with it.
I mean, yeah, I'd still lose.
No,
Somewhat.
Ain't no way you're winning.
No way I'm winning.
You could beat a giant spider, but you couldn't beat a random ass dude with a copy of Chainsaw Massacre.
Nah, because that's how they get you. They
lull you into a false sense of security.
Yeah, dude, check out. Dude, have you seen this new Blu-ray disc? And then they break it in half and stab you in the jugular.
Oh, good point.
Yeah, it is a good point.
But anyway.
All right, you ready?
I thought of another one.
Go ahead.
No, I'm gonna save it.
Okay.
Unless you can't think of one.
Fucking.
All right, I'll say mine. You, because you're technically a slasher.
Oh.
I'll beat you in a fist fight.
Damn. Okay. All right.
Come on, meet me in Tennessee. Come on, we'll throw hands. Yeah.
Oh. God damn it. I just fucking had one on the tip of my tongue. God damn it.
We'll have a boxing match.
Yeah, we'll have a boxing match real quick.
Pay-per-view.
Pay-per-view.
Hey, at least it'll be better than Jake Paul versus Mike Tyson. Come on.
Yeah, it would be.
So now we're both down to our last ones.
Man, I want to think of a good one.
Who's gonna think of it first?
I guess all the animatronics in Five Nights at Freddy's.
Daniel, you got it first.
Easy solo.
What? No, I don't think you could.
Easy
They're
solo.
robots.
Yeah, I'll piss on him.
Actually,
I'll piss on him. It's short
I'm-
circuit.
that wasn't the angle I was about to go into. The angle I was about to go into is the fact that if they're real life animatronics, that shit breaks down all the time.
Yeah, exactly. All right,
Like it is.
the spiders from Eight-Legged Freaks. If David Arquette can do it, I can do it too.
I'm trying to think of one. My last one.
The animatronics from Willy's Wonderland.
I've never even seen that.
You're missing out. Have you heard of it?
Oh, is that the one with Nicolas
Oh
Cage?
yeah, and he doesn't say a single fucking word the whole movie.
I've heard that's a really good guilty pleasure movie. I do need to watch that one.
It's so funny.
And another Nicolas Cage movie. I started watching this. I whatever I had to do to stop watching it, I should have like told them no, I'm finishing this movie. I still have yet to see Mandy all the way through.
Me neither.
Really?
Yeah, so
That would be a good one to do as a watch party because I've heard really, really good things about that movie.
me too. Big zombie from the end of the second Resident Evil movie, or is that the first one? Nemesis?
Yeah, sure.
1v1.
I don't remember. I know. I'll go into like the aspect that you said with the spider. Godzilla. Because if he existed in real life, he would crush from his own weight.
Okay.
Yay!
Or Cloverfield. I could solo Clover.
Not even like because of like the whole entire
Nope. Giving him gravity.
square cube law thing.
Yeah, give Clover gravity. Like he can sustain his own weight. He wouldn't see me coming.
If you gave Cloverfield a like starship and 400 million soldiers, he still wouldn't beat you.
Exactly. He can't stop me.
He
He can stop TJ Miller, but he
need to
can't stop me.
I need to hype you up as much as possible. That way, whenever we have
Yeah.
pay-per-view,
Just fucking.
it'll make me look good.
Yeah.
It'll make me look good by comparison.
Yeah, right. God. If he could beat all these people and I can beat his ass, what's that say about me?
Or at least go toe to toe with him.
Yeah, right. Jesus.
So I think Killer. I think you could beat the Death Star if it was in real life.
Yeah.
I think you could beat.
Yep. I'll just piss in the hole. The one hole that blows the whole thing up, dude. I'll just piss in it. Like, oh shit, look at this. So like what happens like theoretically, right? Since that's like the one hole that blows up the whole Death Star, what happens if one dude's just like drinking a Coke and he's like, oh shit, garbage can, and he throws this like you know what I mean?
What's he doing out there in space?
Yeah. That's
Just remember it's out in space.
that's fair.
That actually makes it funnier because he's somehow drinking the Coke through his helmet, and then he throws it down the hole. It's not even like it's like a straw that goes through his suit. No, it's like he opens up his mask, and like that short period of time where you wouldn't die from the vacuum of space, he drinks his Coke and then he flips it back down really quick.
God damn it. Oh. Okay, actually, for realsies though, I think outside of like magical powers and stuff, I could solo the chick from The Grudge in a fight.
What about the chick from The Ring?
Oh yeah, dude, same time, 2v1. I'll grab the chick from The Ring when she's coming out the TV, buy her hair, and I'll use her and swing her against the other one. You know what I mean? Like, or check this out. You ready? Like, in like the preload lobby, right? Like when we're talking our shit before we fight. Like she's crawling out the TV, dude. I'll just switch it to The Walking Dead and let her be Rick Grimes' problem. You know what I'm saying? Like, or like everything's a flat screen now. She's coming out the TV. I'll just run behind the TV and push it over.
What would happen if you like broke the TV while she was going through?
That's a good question. I have another question. What would happen if like you only had a phone?
That was answered in Rings, and I heard that movie was absolute dog shit.
Oh yeah, that movie was dog shit.
You watched it?
Yeah, I forgot I watched it till you just told me.
Thanks for bringing back my PTSD, Justus.
God damn it, dude. Fucking.
It's like a Vietnam flashback.
Yep. Jesus Christ. Now I have Fortunate Son playing in my head. Oh, yeah. It's fun to imagine. Realistically, I'd probably get bodied by most of those people, but I think I could at least go toe-to-toe for a while. Except...
No, don't listen to this man. He could toe-to-toe all of them.
Except Tim Curry's Pennywise, because Tim Curry's in a wheelchair now, so therefore Pennywise would be in a wheelchair.
Oh, no!
So that would be the easiest fight of my life.
I can't, actually, in all honesty, I can't overreact too much because I answered with, like, Professor X for that stupid question I asked a little while back.
Oh, God.
So for context for the viewers, I asked, like, randomly, a question popped in my head, and, like, every single friend I had, I asked this question. Who is the strongest fictional character you could beat in a fist fight? And the one I answered with was Professor X, because technically he's really, really powerful. He's just not powerful with fist fights.
Yeah. Oh.
And the same thing applies to Tim Curry.
Yeah.
Little do people know, Tim Curry actually has telekinesis.
Oh, I'd be fucked.
No, we said it was a fist fight.
True,
we said it was
true.
a fist fight.
Just fist fight, no powers.
So it's exactly like the Professor Xavier scenario.
Yeah,
I said
exactly the same. Which piece of media has legitimately scared you for the longest time, or most period of time?
The childhood trauma things are probably like the things that scared me for the longest that I mentioned earlier.
Yeah.
But one I didn't mention earlier for that was I've mentioned this in your Discord before, and I was talking to Accomplice, and he had seen this as well, which I was very shocked by. There was this show from the 70s called The Land of the Lost, and in one of the episodes, there is this alien that is trying to leave the Land of the Lost, the titular Land of the Lost. And the way he is doing this is by activating his gravity drive, because he is an alien. And the main characters come over to his ship because how his gravity drive works is the whole entire area around it causes the gravity to increase. And they go over to his ship and they're like, "Hey, you, stop that, you meanie." And he's like, "No." And he's a bad neighbor, so he's going to hell.
Okay, all right.
I don't know why I felt the need to add that. But anyways, whenever he says that, he brings out a robot, and the robot is a robot dinosaur, and it's absolutely terrifying, at least for me as a young kid. But even still to this day, it creeps me out, just like the invisible monsters that I talked about before. But for something that's a little bit less kiddie, the movie that I've seen that probably creeps me out the most for the longest time. Have you ever heard of a movie called Prophecy?
I feel like I've heard of it.
So, have you ever heard of Man Bear Pig from South Park?
Yes. Man Bear Pig.
Man Bear Pig, its design is basically one-for-one a ripoff of the monster that is from the movie Prophecy.
I see it already.
And I watched the movie Prophecy as a very young kid, probably 9 or 10. And when I watched it, it scared the poo-poo out of me. Really, really scared the poo-poo out of me. I think that's the most terrified I've ever been of a movie ever.
Okay.
but even still to this day, this again goes back to that whole entire audio design goes a long way for movies. The roars that the bear makes in the movie is still like really creepy to me to this day, or unnerving. I don't know the best way how to describe it, but it still gets me a little bit.
Okay.
And by the way, really quick, the bear in that movie is the explanation as to how it got the way it is that the water that is nearby to it got infected with mercury, and somehow it wound up looking like that, even though that doesn't explain anything. Because that would just kill it, if anything.
Jesus. Okay.
But anyways, what about you?
All right. Probably Jeepers Creep. Okay, so I got two. One, Jeepers Creepers for practicality, because
One or two?
both. For the main reason of when I was a kid, we lived in this hick-ass town in Illinois. It's called Manhattan, Illinois. Yeah, that's right. If any of you are from Manhattan, Illinois and happen to end up watching this podcast, fuck you. Fuck your town, dude. I live there. Fuck that place. Leave. Anyway.
If I ever have a nuke, I know where to lob it now. Okay, thank you.
So, we lived in basically the whole town's in the middle of a cornfield. And no, Children of the Corn didn't scare me. What scared me was Jeepers Creepers, because my grandparents would always come over. Everyone would always come over, and they'd think it was funny to scare the little kids, so they'd tell me, they'd be like, if you don't do this, Jeepers Creepers is going to get you from the cornfield. And what made it worse was literally right across the street from us in that cornfield, there was this old run-down ass house that was like falling apart next to a barn that was falling apart next to a silo that was falling apart. And they told me,
I get that too. We have a lot of those around here too.
They told me that's where he lived, and that he was watching me every day, waiting for me to act up, and he'd come get me. I was fucking terrified. And
family members are mean,
dude. Fucking, and what made it, like, what cemented it was my mom's sister was like 19, watching me and my brother. And we fell asleep, and she fell asleep on the couch, and I remember her waking us up because, like, when she fell asleep, the windows in the house were closed, and we woke up, and every fucking window in our house was open. And she said,
I'm guessing she did that.
Dude, no, she did not. She said, she woke us up, and she said, we need to leave now. There's somebody in the house. And we went to our neighbors. She called the cops. The cops showed up, said they don't know what happened. They don't know what was going on. Why, like, they didn't find anything to suggest anyone was still in there. But it made it very unnerving to live in that house after that. But movies that creep me out to this day, still The Grudge. Even though I said I could take that bitch in a 1v1, dude, that movie to this day gives me the EBGBs.
You want to know what your whole entire window story reminded me of? Have you ever heard that real life story about the guy who lived in this family's house, in between the walls of this family's house?
I've seen multiple things like that, like people setting up cameras, and they catch people like coming from like the attic or like out of like holes in the wall, and they like steal their food and shit.
Well, did those have like police reports and like actual like stuff that could prove it actually happened?
Not that I looked into.
Okay, the thing I'm thinking of, like, this thing actually happened. Have you ever heard of Mr. Ballin?
No.
Oh, definitely check out his stuff. He's a great storyteller. But that's where I've heard this story, and he usually is really good about picking stories that, if he doesn't explicitly tell you that he's not sure if it's real or not. If he tells you it's real at the beginning, it's real. It really happened, and there's like police reports about it and shit.
Okay.
And it just reminded me of that story.
Oh,
your story.
Oh, so like there was someone living in their house?
Yeah, and the way how you said that you weren't sure if there was somebody in the house.
Yeah. Yeah, that shit was creepy. But yeah, no, we had built that house. My dad got that house, like it was built for our family, and then I don't know. I feel like someone living in the house, like in the walls, would have been weird. I think it was just like somebody. Honestly, what it probably was is it was probably someone we knew because it was a small town. Like broke into the house and did it as a prank. Because like our cousins live down the street. They probably did it as a prank. You know what I mean? But it was still the reality of never finding out and never knowing. It was very scary.
Watch, you're gonna post this podcast episode. One of your family members is going to watch it and get this to this point and comment down below, or send you a message and be like, "Oh yeah, that was us."
Yeah, no, that'd be funny. I don't talk to that side of the family anymore, but that would be funny. Man.
But other pieces of media that have scared is Jeepers Creeper. You said The Grudge. Any others?
Honestly, like when I was really little, like I loved watching them, but they all did scare me. And
I think I might know what you're about to say.
well, no, I'm like like generally like fucking horror movies. Like I loved them as a kid, but they all scared the shit out of me when I was little because I've been watching them since I was like 3 years old.
I thought you were fixing to say Goosebumps.
Oh, dude, I loved Goosebumps as a kid. Those did.
Yeah.
I remember in particular one that stuck with me was, I can't remember what the episode was titled. Maybe you'll remember. It's the one where the family moves to a new town and the girl is like all upset she had to leave her friends behind, and at the end of the episode you find out that the whole family actually died in a house fire.
My Neighbor Ghost. I think I know which one you're talking about.
Yeah, I think it was that one, but that one, I remember that one stuck with me for a long time.
Funnily enough, the Goosebumps episodes never really scared me, but I think a big part of that has to do with the fact that the scariest episode that most people say still to this day creeps them out is the Mask. Is it called just The Mask or the Horror Mask or whatever? You know which episode I'm talking about, right?
Is it the one where they wear the mask and it makes them all fucking evil?
Yes.
Yeah.
And then at the end of the episode, there are other masks that the girl got her mask from a store, and whenever she runs away, all those other masks like come out of the store and chase after her and like floating.
Yeah, and then they did the sequel where like the masks were like put into production or some shit.
Something along those lines. But I never watched that as a kid, but that I know that would have scared the absolute poop out of me, because whenever I watched it for the first time, I was like, geez, this is kind of creepy even now. And it legitimately is. It's the thing. It's really weird about effects for me. A lot of times the effects that get me are the ones that a lot of people would say are a little bit shitty. Because for me, that shittiness kind of starts to put it into the uncanny valley.
Yeah.
And starts to creep me out. I don't know if that you're the same way.
Yeah, that shit does creep me out.
Like a lot of for example, the original Pennywise creeps me out a lot more with like the stop motion and him going down into the drain creeps me out, something like that, way more than the CGI of like the modern movies. Not like me personally, none of the modern It movies creep me out. And a big portion of that probably has to do with the fact that that version of Pennywise, all I thought whenever I saw it was, boy, you look like you've been hit in the head with a frying pan. But, anyways, going back on track. Are there any other pieces of media that really scared you for a long time?
I know there were. I can't remember, like, off the top of my head, like, which ones, like, really, really, really got me. Fucking, okay. This one, it's more along the lines of silly. But, we had the DVD, growing up of Monster House.
Oh, yeah.
And when you're at the main menu and it's just the house breathing, like for the whole main menu, like we'd watch that movie and we would, so like me and my brother and my sister, we'd like sleep in the living room on the floor and we'd watch that movie and fall asleep. And I'd wake up in the middle of the night to just that house fucking sitting there staring at me, breathing. And I would just be, dude, I'm like, even though it's animation and it's a good movie, that shit would creep me the fuck out.
That was another one that creeped me out as a kid, but nowadays it doesn't really creep me out.
Yeah,
pretty much at all nowadays. But back in the day, it did give me the spooks.
Give it a little bit of the spooks, the spookies. Man, I'm trying to think if there's anything else. There were so many horror movies I can't remember that I saw. Like, there was this one I saw, I can't remember. It used the ghost face model before Scream did. And it was like used as a ghost that was like flying at people in a graveyard. I can't remember what the movie was called, but I remember that moment, and that moment scared me as a kid.
I had a random thought pop in my head, but it has nothing to do with this question that we're talking about. One like horror experience that I've always wanted, but I know is like never ever going to happen ever again, is that there for a little while, movie theaters were put into stage theaters. So a lot of times they would on one day have a theater production, and then on another day they would have a film production. And because of the way how it was set up, a lot of times, or sometimes what they would do is they would have something that's kind of like a mixture. And what they would do is at the same time, neon paint to make stuff glow in the dark was just becoming popular. So they would paint skeletons and like throw them at the crowd, and or swing them on a string, and crazy stuff like that.
That's cool.
And yeah, that stuff like that never going to happen again, and it's such a shame. Or if it's going to happen again, it's going to be in like a very, very specific place. Like, have you ever heard of Blobfest?
No.
The place where they film the movie The Blob. Every year they have a festival where they watch some old movies, and they always watch The Blob and the 80s version of The Blob.
Okay.
And then they also watch some other horror movies. I don't think they really do the stuff that I talked about, but if there was going to be a place that would do something like that, it would be a place like that.
Yeah. Okay.
Which is a lot harder to get to, which is really, really sad nowadays, that you have to like actively search it out. And a lot of times, because of the fact that you have to actively search it out, it kind of ruins it because it's expected by that point.
Yeah. Yeah. Because you're like, oh, I'm gonna go here because they do this, and then you're there, and it's like, oh yeah, now it's happening, haha.
Yeah. So another thing, this doesn't really have to do with like the stage theater thing, but I don't remember this director's name, but he would do a lot of stuff in that similar vein. And there's this movie called The Tingler. Have you ever heard of it?
No, I have not.
It is honestly a pretty bad movie, but the premise of it is really, really interesting. The premise is that everybody has this monster in their spine. In order for, whenever you get scared, it's trying to like leave your body. And in order to keep it from leaving your body, whenever you get scared, you scream. And it goes into that whole entire thing of like, sometimes whenever you're scared, you get that tingle in the back of your neck. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Okay.
And that's why it's called The Tingler.
Interesting.
And the premise of the movie is that there's this guy that discovers this, and he wants to study it. And in order for him to do that, he scares a mute woman to death. I think this was at the point in time where they were switching from color, or from black and white to color. And it's really interesting in this movie because the whole entire thing's black and white, but one scene in particular has color, and it's of a bathtub filled with blood and a hand coming out of it.
Interesting.
And it's really gnarly looking. And that's what does her in. That's what scares her just to death. Even though it kind of doesn't make any sense. How did the guy set that up? A lot of the parts where he's scaring her to death doesn't really make much sense in the fact of like, how did he physically do all the things he does?
Yeah.
But it's like whatever. And the ending of the movie, going back to what I was talking about with like theater interaction, the tingler, he removes the tingler from the lady who got scared to death's corpse out of her back, and he loses track of it, and eventually figures out it had stumbled its way into a movie theater. And at that point, they shut off the movie, and the guy who was the director of the movie would try and have the movie theater put underneath the seats vibrators so it would feel like the tingler is underneath your seat.
Interesting.
And running amok in your theater. Yeah. I gotta remember this director's name because he did a bunch of stuff like this, but this is like the most infamous thing he did. But
that's really cool though.
I really wish that more theaters did stuff like that because that is uber cool.
Yeah, I agree. That is cool. Like, you know what I thought they should have done? Did you ever see that movie Lights Out?
I think I saw the trailer for it.
I thought, like, how cool would it be if, like, only select showings at the end of the movie, like, when the movie's over, like, over the credits, it looks like her shadow is, like, cast in the corner of the screen. So,
that would be
like,
cool.
only certain movies get it. Not every other, like, not every single showing, only select showings, like maybe like 1 in 10 showings get it. I think that would have been cool as fuck.
Yeah.
But alas, a lot of people.
I think. Go
No,
ahead.
you go ahead.
I think horror is a genre that is way more apt for something like that being really. I think horror just in general is more apt for very, very creative venture.
I agree. And I wish more people looked at it that way instead of just, oh, horror movies always make money, I can make it easy buck.
Yeah. Well, that's not even true.
Yeah, but I don't know, man. I wish there was more creativity in the horror sphere of cinema.
As of late,
Yeah.
As of late, it seems like it's just not even just horror. The whole entirety of
The film,
Hollywood seems like it's
the whole film industry.
lost its creativity. It's not even Hollywood. Games feel like it's lost its creativity. Just I don't want to sound like an old man, but we had it so good back in the day.
Yeah, we did. But hopefully, in the next couple years, people can shake it up.
The indie scene has started to really pop off as of late,
Yeah.
which is really good.
Yeah, I agree.
And I think theater has actually, gotten kind of a little bit of a resurgence.
Yeah.
Because because the thing is with theater is they're not going to put on a show that for a script that is poo-poo. They're going to make sure it's good. If they're going to put this much
You'd be surprised.
time and effort.
I actually
What do you mean you'd be surprised?
Oh my man, a little fun fact about me. I went to college for acting and did a whole lot of plays, and we did some poo-poo.
Oh, really?
We did some poo-poo, dude. Yeah.
My local theaters, I don't go to every single showing, but almost every year I get the pamphlet. I go to at least like one play every year, so I get a pamphlet and it shows like all this different stuff that they have planned out for that year. And I have like two main like theaters that I go to, or well, technically three. I have two main ones that aren't college campus.
Gotcha.
Theater productions, and honestly I go to those more so than I do the college campus. Maybe that's why.
Yeah.
Maybe college campuses allow a little bit more poo-poo than than non-college ones.
Probably, but that's all right. I had a lot of fun when I was doing the plays. Acting in a play is a good time.
Yeah, I have a friend who's an actor as well, and he loves acting.
Yeah.
Especially in theaters.
Yeah, I loved
in theater.
In theater, yeah.
Theatrical production.
We did a rendition of fucking Peter Pan, and I was a lost boy, which the story, dude. Oh my god. Okay, so this is right around the time I dropped out because I realized the department didn't know what they were doing, and I go into my audition and I'm like, I'm not even gonna really try because I don't want to be here anymore. And I try. I just act like a fool. And the director is like, oh, you know what? I want you to read for Peter. And I'm like,
Oh, B is what's it called? Understudy?
no. Like, he's like, this was during casting. Like, when they were, like, this was auditions. He's like, I want you to read for Peter. And he made me read for Peter all night, and I still just went at it with a fucking attitude. And then he had me come back 2 more times and read as Peter. And was like, I really like you as Peter. And then, like, when it's casting day, he calls me into his office. He's like, hey, I need to talk to you about this role. Can you, like, meet me? And I go in there, and he's like, all right, Killer's real name. I had you read Peter, and I love you as Peter. And, like, I'm sitting here like, am I really gonna get the main character role? Like, the play we did before this, it was I don't know if you've ever heard of it. It's a play called Vanya, but
I've heard of it.
I played Vanya in that play. So, like, I was the main character in that play. And I was like, is this?
I don't know any of the details about it.
I'm like, is this jackass gonna cast me as Peter too? Like, is he trying to, like, give me an ego boost or something? And he goes, but there was that one time that you were struggling with anxiety real bad, so I can't trust you to be a main lead in this show. So I'm going to give you Lost Boy number 6. And I was just like, okay, buddy. All right. Fucking mother. Ooh. But anyway, I got to learn how to sword fight, so that was cool. But other than that, dude, fuck it. Fuck that shit. I miss it, though. I miss acting like that. It was fun.
I originally wanted to go to college for, I think it was visual arts, but I even while I was going, I was like, so for me, I went to college, but when I went to college, it was during the height of the pandemic, so I had to do everything online, and most things were not set up for it being online, so it was an absolute grueling experience. So I dropped out, and just recently I've went back, and instead of doing an arts degree, I decided to do a business degree.
Okay.
Because a business degree can get you a job like an accountant or a business manager, stuff that actually has like is a lot easier to find than like something with an arts degree. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I definitely know what you mean.
So it has that benefit, but also on top of that, if you ever want to pursue something artistic like I have a dream and aspiration of doing, you can still do it.
Right.
Just because you can, like, for me, for example, I eventually want to make a publishing company, and I can do that because I have a business degree.
Yeah. That's not a bad idea. That's very smart.
And it is a degree that a lot of people like overlook. And if anybody is out there, any aspiring college students in the Killer Cult, I highly recommend, if you're into artsy stuff, but you haven't, like, you don't really have a portfolio, definitely consider getting a business degree.
Yeah.
Because that's the thing with me. I don't have a portfolio, but I'm really into artsy-fartsy shit.
Yeah. It's good to have it's definitely good to have a backup and work on your stuff in the meantime. Because, like, my 9 to 5, I'm a fucking salesman. You know what I mean? For electrical supplies.
Yeah.
And I still express my creativity through YouTube and 3D printing and painting and drawing and all that jazz. So you could do both.
Yeah.
You can have a steady stream of money and be an artist. You don't need to fucking starve.
Yeah.
All right. So we can end it on the positive note of good college ideas. And even though we didn't exactly stick to the horror topic this episode, I hope you guys enjoyed our conversation, because I did. It was a good time.
I did as well.
Me too. And ultimately, that's all that this is about. There's plenty of podcasts out there that are completely informative and all about information and facts. This isn't one of those. This is just one for you to listen to when you're doing the dishes, walking the dog, or driving to work. This is just I'd like this to be a buddy podcast. You know what I mean? Just talking, have a good time.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, thank you, Justus, for being on here. Thank you for supplying these awesome questions, even though we didn't burn through all of them. It definitely helped.
Yeah.
And thank you for being an energetic co-host. And
thank you.
Of course.
Thank you for inviting me out.
Of course. I'd like to eventually, I want to get a couple more people in, like, some solo episodes, and I'd love to start doing, like, little, like, groups, like 3 people, and we all just, like, talk, you know, riff off each other, like maybe like 3-4 people max. I think that'd be fun to, like, build up the Killer Cast that way.
Yeah.
So that would be a good time. So thank you, though. You have been the 3rd guest. So you're up there in the numbers, man.
Watch. You'll have to